Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this Immersion 2022 that held by School of Accounting, Binus University. And this session will be presented by Mr. Muhammad Anur Wijaya Kusuma, SA AKCA Indonesia, CPA Australia, CMA Australia, and moderated by Mr. Archie Nathanael Mulyawan. Before we start this webinar session, let me introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Theodor Kusuma, and today I will be the master of the ceremony for this seminar session. At the end of the session, there will be a privilege for students that join Zoom for having a special opportunity. Participants will be eligible to receive 80 points and a certificate if, first, participant had enrolled for this webinar. Second, participants send a summary of the seminar, maximum at 3:30 Jakarta time, and the summary that is submitted may not only consist of screenshot. Any summary that only consists of screenshot are not acceptable. Now we will listen our opening words from Ms. Yen Sun as Head of Finance Program of Binus University. Please proceed, Ms. Yen Sun.
Thank you, Jonathan. And good morning in Indonesia, and of course, good afternoon in Melbourne, I think, Pak Anur.
Good afternoon.
And
yes.
Then, good afternoon. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. So before we get started, I would like to express, of course, my sincere appreciation to Remondis Australia, and especially to Mr. Muhammad Anur Wijaya Kusuma as the Management Accountant Remondis Australia Melbourne branch. For his willingness to share information and practical insight about how Remondis actually treats liquid waste and its accounting process. And of course, it's an honor to have you here today, Pak Muhammad Anur. I would also like to thank all the participants today in the Saturday morning, our lecturers and our beloved students. And also, last but not least, thank you to all of the committee who generously arrange and make this event become success. So this event actually a virtual immersion that we conduct annually. And this time we get to visit Melbourne, especially Remondis, a global company that plays an important role in the water management sector, treating liquid domestic and industrial waste, that who will be hosting us for today. We do hope that situation getting normal again in the future, of course, so we can conduct, this is our hope, we can conduct immersion like this, not in virtual version anymore, but in real visitation, of course. So, and also we do hope that students can have practical insight from this immersion. So, well, without further ado, I would like to say, please enjoy the immersion from Australia, and thank you very much. I give it back to Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen, for the opening word. Now let me introduce our moderator for this session, Mr. Archie Nathanael Mulyawan. Mr. Archie completed his Bachelor in Accounting degree in 2021 in Binus University. As an active student, Mr. Archie got a lot of achievements, including appointed as CPA Australia Student Ambassador and also appointed as CAEAE Ambassador. Currently, Mr. Archie is pursuing his Master of Accounting degree in Binus University while working as System and Development Coordinator in Accounting Laboratory, School of Accounting, Binus University. Now, please welcome Mr. Archie.
Thank you, Jonathan. Currently, rapid industrial activity has greatly contributed to economic progress by utilizing available resources. The leaders have to create a new innovation through management strategy that not only focus on profit, but on how the company can maintain the condition of the environment without harming the resources and minimizing the risk of waste and environmental pollution through the stages of management and effective allocation of costs supported by the information in the accounting record to sustain the life of future generation. Therefore, it is important for all leaders to emphasize productivities to focus on how to manage the waste efficiently. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Archie Nathanael Mulyawan. I'm the moderator of Immersion 2022. I really wish that all of you will enjoy the whole event and have a good health. Today, we have an interesting topic that aims to educating the audiences with a broader understanding of the environmental stewardship process that takes place in Australia, where we are honored to have an extraordinary speaker to fulfill our event, Mr. Anur Wijaya Kusuma, SA, AKA, CA, CPA Australia, CMA Australia. Before I continue further, let me introduce our speaker. Mr. Anur Wijaya Kusuma is a management accountant as a plant controller at Remondis Australia who completed his Diploma of Accounting in Sekolah Tinggi Akuntansi Negara, or as we know as TAN. Then he received his bachelor's degree of accounting in University of Indonesia and also received his master's degree of business by research in Swinburne University of Technology in Melbourne, Australia. He had 3 professional certifications. There are Certified Management Accountant from Institute of Certified Management Accountants, CPA Australia, from Certified Practicing Accountant Australia, and last but not least, CA Indonesia from Institute of Indonesia Chartered Accountants. Once again, before we start the first presentation, I would like to remind you that this event will be interactive session. So do not hesitate if you want to ask directly during the presentation by raising your hand or put your question in the chat box. Without further ado, Mr. Anur, you may start your presentation. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Archie, and thank you everyone to give me time to first introduce myself, and then say I want to present about what is Remondis, and then what can Remondis do it, and what kind of the system in accounting that we Remondis use it. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. All right, I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, sir. It can be seen.
Okay, so I start from this one then. All right, maybe everyone's we don't have Remondis in Indonesia at this moment, but we have Remondis globally. Remondis is one of the largest recycling and services and water companies. So it's still a family run. It's a family-run company with a history stretched back over 80 years. So Remondis Group operates in many fields of business. We can simplify that one into three business sectors. One is recycling, services, and water. So we are talking about recycling, services, and water. So that one is Remondis is a head office in Germany. This one is a German company. But in Australia, we don't have the water, and we don't have a water treatment. We only have a recycling and services. All right, let's take a look about the Remondis location first. This is in a location, Remondis locations in a global. So we have so many in Europe, around 827. So 827, most of them are in Europe because they are a German company. And then we also have 2 in Asia, but this one in Singapore and in Thailand. So in Singapore, we also have not the recycling, but we have a recycling treatment there. But one is not for the waste, but that one is for the steel, because they have a lot of steel, especially for the equipment regarding for like a computer and everything. And the Thailand as well, we also have that one. And the Remondis also have, it's a part of group of Remond Group. We have Remondis itself, Transdev, Saria, Renus Logistics. So what is Remondis? So Remondis is belong to the German, and we also have Remondis International with 100% owned by Remondis SE and Co. Remondis, and then there's the Remondis Australia. It's owned by the Remondis International GmbH. All right, what is Transdev? So this is the group that we have in Remondis. So Remondis is a big company. we have a Remondis itself is in recycling service and water. We also have a Transdev, the one transport service. If one of you ever go to like in Europe or go to like in Australia, there's a Transdev. Transdev is public transport. It's the urban and intercity public transport. They also have a mass rail transport. We also have one in Australia, one Transdev, but it's not that big enough compared to Remondis itself for the recycling. Remondis logistics is the contract, all of them about the logistics, public transport, freight, and then contract port above. Then another one is Saria. Saria is powered by your industry. So you have a high quality goods from animal.
I'm sorry, sir. We can't hear you clearly, sir, right now. Can you please to share the PowerPoint, the presentation slide again, sir? You can take down and share again. Because your voice we can't hear clearly. Sorry, sir. Okay.
That's right.
Yes. Now we can hear clearly. Because I think when you start the share screen, it contact to your voice, sir. Thank you, sir.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. This is about the group that we have a 4 division. So Remondis. So I'm back again. But in a Remondis we have a 4 divisions, especially in service product. One is Remondis itself, Transdev, logistics, and Saria. So that's it. That one opened in 2017. Well, something that you can forget about this one. So I just want to explain to you what is Remondis. It is a big company. We have 4 divisions. So I'm working in a Remondis, in a recycling and services, but we don't have water treatment in Australia at this moment. And Remondis, we have water treatment in Australia, but Remondis doesn't operate water treatment in Australia. So okay, I'll move up to Remondis Australia. So at this moment we have around 39 branches, Australia and New Zealand. So
sorry, Mr. Anur, to cut your presentation. I think your voice is still not clearly, sir, to be heard. Okay. I think I'm sorry, sir. May you use your earphone maybe to help you while your presentation, sir, or you can share the presentation to me and I'll help you to share the screen, sir.
So can you hear me now? Is it clear?
Yes. Yes. Technically, it's clear. Okay. Sir. Thank you.
It's maybe. Okay. Sorry.
It's much better, sir.
Okay. Let me close this. Okay, can you hear me now? It's better?
Yes, it's much better, sir.
Yeah, I think maybe just because I'm using 2 monitors, maybe.
Oh, okay, sir. You may continue your presentation, sir. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. All right, now we are talking about Remondis Australia. What is Remondis Australia? Well, it's part of the Remondis Global in German. And at this moment, we have 30 branches across Australia and New Zealand. The head office itself is in the Muscat, New South Wales. And in Melbourne area, which is I manage for this area. So we have a solid waste and a liquid waste. So I'm based in Kuluru. Kuluru is not Melbourne, which is far away. I'm living in South Melbourne, so I have to drive maybe around 1.5 hours from my house to the office. But we also have a liquid waste in Dandenong area. So this one is including the treatment plant. So we have a treatment plant in Dandenong, but we don't have a treatment plant in Kuluru. So in Kuluru, we only have, it is only logistic one. It's only on the transport. So there is the locations, 27 locations in Australia in total. So there's, and the rest in New Zealand. So in Perth, Melbourne Metropolitan, Canberra, Wollongong. We also have one in Wollongong. Sydney is the biggest one. Sydney Metropolitan is the biggest one. And then we have Hunter, Newcastle, Port Macquarie, Greater Brisbane, Sunshine, and Queensland regions. So at this moment, we don't have in Northern Territory because it's very hard to go there. And then not many people live in Northern Territory. People want to know about what is Remondis, how is Remondis processing. So it starts from ourselves. It starts from about how to spirit our waste. So if we can spirit the waste, so for example, like from cardboard, paper. So if we can spirit that one from ourselves, from the households, it will make us easy. So at this moment, we have 3 bins in terms of our households, but in industrial, because Remondis is taking care for commercial and industrial waste. So we have more than 3. We have more than 3. So, and then we don't only take for only 1 ton or 2 ton. We take more than around 12 ton every single day for each truck. So we have around 25 until 45 trucks. So that 45 trucks is going everywhere just to pick up the rubbish, just to pick up the garbage. So if we don't spread that ones properly, it will make our job is getting harder, and also the landfill is also contaminated easily. So it starts from ourselves. So this from the household. So we have to spread whether there's one is a general waste, recycling, on the organic one. So that's the easiest one. And then put this one, put in the bins based on the color, and then we pick up. And then when we pick up, we deliver this one to our treatment plants. So from treatment plant, if there's something still that we cannot process, we put them into landfill. So by the end, it will go to the landfill. The one is not good, but we have to make sure before it goes to landfill, we have to make sure that it's safe for landfill. It's not contaminated. So I can say there are around 15 items that we have to fulfill based on the regulation of Victoria. If one of them is not meet the standard yet, so we cannot dump that one into our landfill. So that's what we are going to do in Remondis. That's what Remondis is doing. I want to let you know about the truck because I'm not sure how. Maybe one in Indonesia we have a kind of this truck. Maybe some of them, but this is our transport type. So we have a skip pins. Skip pin is look like a rocket, but actually there is a big pin like this one. And then we also have a hook truck. This one is front lift, this one is rear lift, and the other one is liquid tank. Liquid tank is something that we suck from either from the stormwater or from the restaurant. So how big is the truck? Each of them is content. We can lift that one around until 12 tons. So the maximum around 30 tons. It depends upon the truck. But we also have the smallest one. The smallest one may be around 8,000 until 8,000 until 10,000. 8,000, I think that's the minimum one. And then this is the type of the container bins. So this is the rear lift bin. This is the front lift. This is a hook lift. So if you see from the transport, this is the front lift. So they will lift it up using this lift, and then put them on in here, and then they will lift it up and then put on the back of this truck. This is a bin. So this bin have so many types. So this is the size of the bin, just to compare between, each bin have a different size. So this one is 240. This one 120 liter milli bins. This one 240. So this one is a rear leaf bin. And then we also have a front leaf bin. So what are we talking here is about the solid waste. There's nothing related to the liquid waste yet. So on the solid waste, but we have to separate that one first, whether that one is from the medical, general waste, or from the cardboard or from the paper. So every bins we have a different type of waste. So if you can imagine about how big it is, this I compare with the one. Sorry, is it mine or other people? Okay. So this is the variety for individual needs. So I compare this one. This is a hook leaf bin. This one is around 12 tons. This is skip bin. So just to understand how the what is Remondis doing, and then what is the waste? What are we going to do with the waste? That's another thing. And then in this presentation, I'm going to because we have a treatment plans, especially for the liquid, we don't have a solid waste treatment plan yet. So I'm going to be more about the liquid waste. That's more interesting for me, and hopefully for everyone here. This type of the truck, you see this one is a front leaf. So the truck driver itself doesn't have to go out and then pick up the bin, lift it up. So this one is everything doing, the driver will do this one behind the wheel. So it's easy for them. And then we can pick up all the jobs, at least for one day, we can pick up around 60 jobs. So for 8 hours. So some driver have to work maybe for 12 hours, it depends. So 60 jobs is the minimum one. Sometimes they have to do around 80 jobs. What I mean 80 jobs is 80 bins. And it depends how big are they. And 80 customer or sometimes maybe more. And then I'm going to talk about the waste types. So it's just to understand that one. So we have a liquid waste. This is what we call grease trap. Is that anyone know what this grease trap is? And where's the grease trap come from? So grease trap coming from the restaurant, coming from the bar, coming from the cafe. That's a grease trap. So all the restaurant, all the bar cannot deliver all the waste, especially from the liquid one, goes to the landfill straight away. No, they have to make like a like a tank underneath there, underneath the restaurants. So if you walk on the pathway, on the pedestrian way, sometimes there is like a something like this, something like this ones, but actually that one is a grease trap. So it smells very, very bad. Hopefully everyone have taken breakfast yet. I have taken breakfast this one. So because we are talking about rubbish is something that there's some photo that is not good to look. So don't eat now, just go for this presentation first, because you will feel that's not good. You will see something that is not what is this, that there's some picture that is some people say that one, I don't know, it's like a GG or something, I don't know. So this is one with grease trap. And second is about storm water. So storm water, I remember when I was in Indonesia, storm water always goes to a river, or goes to the lake straight away. But here we don't. We don't go to the river. We don't go to the creek. We don't go to this one. Don't go to the river. So there is a truck. There is a place like a tank that be like a bank for this storm water. So storm water is coming from is on the street. Maybe some of you already know these ones, but it's not in Australia, especially is going to go to the river or going to the lake straight away. So we have to suck these ones and then put in the liquid tank in the truck. We suck that one and then we have to treat that. And then make sure when we want to discharge that, it is have already filled all the 15 item requirements by the Australian law. So we are under EPA. EPA is Environmental Protection Agency. So there's everything that is related on the environment, include the liquid waste like this, include the waste. The EPA, we have to follow the EPA regulations. So I just show you this one, only three of them, but we have around 15 items, 15 waste codes. And then the other one is a car and truck wash. So they put everything in the tank. So if you go to like in Indonesia and then you want to wash your truck or you want to wash your car, I'm pretty sure it will go to the river, but not in here. So if you want to run your own business in the truck washing like this, you have to have a tank for this waste, because and then if we have already treat this, it will go. So I'm going to show you about the waste code here. Can you see my screen?
About waste code detail, Mr. Anu?
Yes.
Yes, you can see
so in
it.
the detail, this coming from the EPA. So they have already identified around 15 waste codes. So from cyanides, acid, alkaline waste, inorganic, they spread the one again until we identify only 15 waste types. So here from the clinical and pharmaceutical waste, EPA take care of it. So if we are talking about the salt, this one, industrial wastewater, is include the car and truck washer. And we also have a put this one L100.
I'm sorry, Mr. Anur, but the presentation slide is just like white, sir. There is no not information, just the title about waste code detail.
Oh, only this one. Okay.
Yes, only that one.
Okay. I'm going to show you these ones. So the waste code here. Now you can see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. This is the waste code detail. This coming from the EPA. So every single waste, EPA has already identified. So if we are talking about like a grease trap before, it is under the industrial, under K1110. This one in organic waste, grease trap, interceptor, or trap affluence. So this, and this is the code. L is stand for the liquid. This one is for solid. This one is another one B. So the waste code is K120. So every time that a truck goes to the treatment plant, they have to make sure what weight is the waste code. Is it K120 or K100 or other things? Even like an industrial, for the car and truck wash water, they have a different waste code. So there is the EPA already identified it. Okay, stop sharing from this and then move to back to my presentation. This is what happened in a water corporation of Victoria. So based under the Food Act 1984, so all the premises has to have the waste has to be treated, and they need to have a tank for the grease trap. And then at these moments, we accept around only grease trap, NDD mud, wastewater, stormwater, and TI. And we also accept the municipal drain cleaning waste and other sample, and any other waste with sample and analysis. So what is NDD mud? This is the interesting, because if I'm not wrong, maybe sorry, 1 or 2 years ago, when they make a tunnel or train at MRT in Indonesia, so all the muds that when they drill, they need the water to this one. This is what happened in Australia as well. They make a tunnel, so there is the waste. This is what we call the T130, and this one cannot go straight away to the landfill. It has to go to a treatment plant first. We have to treat this one first before it goes to the landfill. So the code is T130. And then I'm interested about the grease trap. This is what happened in grease trap. All right, what the grease trap, this is what happened. So they have to put everything in the tank. So this one is one of the pictures coming from the restaurant. So all of them go here, and then this is what we call fat. This is the water that we have to clean water to discharge to shore. We can do this one, but on the top of it, we cannot do it. So we have to start with the liquid waste, with the liquid tank. And then we have to treat them onto the treatment plant. Is there any question, or I can move forward? All right, I think I can move forward for this. There is the liquid treatment plant. So there is like an unloading plants. So we have a tank 1 and tank 2. Tank 1 is just like a temporary tank. On the back of this one, we have a 14 tank. This is centrifuge. Centrifuge is kind of like a to spread between the solid one and the liquid one. So when this kind of like a processing, the first processings, and then it can go to here. When everything is good, everything is clean. What I mean clean is the pH is around 6 until 8, and then we are not in the 15 items of APA. They don't mention about the smell. It doesn't matter about the smell, but they only mention about the chemical, what is in the chemical there. As long as the pH is around 6 until 8, and the ammonia is less than 100, so we can discharge that one. So before we discharge that, we need a permission from the EPA. So this is our discharge tank. We have now, at this moment, we have 5. So each of them is around 240,000 liters. So almost every 2 days, we discharge 1 or 2 tanks. So it will take around 24 hours to discharge, to empty this 2 tanks. So we have 5 discharge tanks. Each of them around 240, and then we try to make that one more than that. And then we accept that the waste code that we accept is K120, one is pre-strap, L100 is car wash, T100 is mud. This one is wash water, L150 the same, C100 is alkali, J130 Ti oils, and other is meaning something that we have before they dump to our treatment plants. We need a sample first. Make sure that we have that permission. If we don't have that permissions, the APA can close. If we don't have the permission, but we treat that once, and the APA notice that we cannot accept that code, but we still accept that, APA can close our factory down straight away. So it's very, very strict. So we have to make sure that all the waste codes, we understand about the waste code, and we also understand about the regulations, because sometimes the APA officer will come to our factory straight away just to check what waste code that you have and what waste code that you get the permission and what kind of waste code that you have treated and what you have accepted. If we treat the waste code that we don't have the permission, so they will close down our factory just to investigate what happened here. It can be more than 1 week, it can be 1 month, it can be 1 year. So it's very very rigid for this. And then so from this one, the centrifuge, we have already separate between the liquid one and the solid one. So the solid one, that what we call sludge. What is the sludge look like? So we can put this one into landfill. And do you know what is it for? And why we can put that one into landfill? It is good. This one is good for the landfill. It's kind of like the fertilizer. So we usually dump that ones into the worm farm. So worm farms, we put that one into worm farm. Why we put that one into worm farm? If you remember, like a grease trap, we treat the grease trap. The grease trap itself is coming from the restaurant. So we have already spread between the oil. We have already spread between the oil and all the liquid. So, and then there are also the solid as well. The solid will become like this one, become like what we call sludge waste. And the sludge can go to worm farm. And move out to the solid waste. This one is, well, at this moment, Australia still have a problem with the solid waste. Some of them we can recycling, some of them not. Especially like a plastic. Maybe you ever heard about news that some plastics from Australia go to Indonesia, because that one is something that we cannot process it yet. But the other thing is the political. I'm not going to explain about that ones, but I still want to explain about what is solid waste. So in a solid waste, we have a commingled waste. We also have commodity waste and putrescible or organic waste. So commingled waste is something that we can recycling, like a plastic, glass, and metal. Commodity waste is when you drop that commodity waste to the tipping sites, they will pay for it. So such as like a cardboard, paper. So if you heard something like I think in Surabaya it happened, or maybe in German, but in German usually for the commingled waste, from the plastic and glass. So, but in here, if you have a lot of paper or cardboard, you can go to the tipping site, and then you can get paid for it. I'm not sure about how much it price, but as long as I know, it's around $150 per ton for the paper. And then the other one is putrescible organic waste, so including that animals and the food waste. So in Australia itself, we divide that one into 3. So commingled, that what we call recycling, and include the commodity as well. And then the other one is the general waste. General waste is something that is not included in organic here. So organic is included for if we lawn them all, or cut the grass, cut the tree and everything. So we can put that one into what we call green waste, or green bins. That's the one. So I have already talking about this. Now we move to what we are using for this thing in Remondis. So we have a lot of counting system in Remondis. This one. Okay. So we use a waste edge, Elo, Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, Profix, Excel for sure. FleetMax is to maintain the truck, and reporting client is to maintain how much fuel that we use. for each truck. This is what happens. So the supporting system for Remondis. So West Edge is for the booking. So when we get a call from the customer, they will inform us about what kind of waste, what kind of how many tons, and where is the box. We book them one into West Edge. So there's the booking will goes to West Edge, and then it means all the booking, all the revenue, and also the cost will include in the West Edge. And then what about other things? Like if we buy something like a maintenance, everything goes to ELO. So that one is some related to payment to supplier. So the account payables is maintained in ELO digital office. And then these two things, West Edge and ELO, will be organized under Microsoft Dynamics. So all the general ledger is goes to here, goes to Microsoft Dynamics. If we want to make like adjustment and everything, it goes to Microsoft Dynamics. And include the balance sheet, include the profit and loss, it goes to here. And then we also have a budget. We have to make sure that we have a budget every month. So we compare between what is the actual compared to the budget. We are using Profix. And we also using the Microsoft Dynamics for the management reporter. So this one is on the high level one. So this is the flow chart for that. So from the truck, it goes to the west. And then the reporting client is getting from the full cost. It goes to the west as well. We have to measure this one. And then there's a tipping cost, external subcontractor, if we are using the external subcontractor. And then compared with the revenue that we have in the west and in the West Edge. That's what we call added value. We have added value here. So some people, some company using a gross margin or gross profit, but in this case, we don't use it. We only use as added value. So how much added value that we make for that? Well, in general financial statements, we call that one as a gross margin. And then we combine from the West Edge, from the revenue, tipping cost, external subcontractor, and compare using the Microsoft Dynamics prior month, and then the budget as well. Of course, we have to put everything in Excel. So Excel is something that is very, very, very usable for us. And we have to know about the formula in Excel. That's very important. Basic knowledge about Excel is about pivot table. Pivot table is very important for this, but I can say that pivot table that I use in Remondis maybe are only 15 until 20%. But the formula is of like indexing, matching, and everything, and automatic things. I use that one almost more than 50% because I have to combine all the data coming from the West Edge, Dynamics, Profix, and the reporting client for this. And there is inside what is in our truck. So our truck driver, this is under West Edge app, yeah. So in the truck, we have an iPad. This iPad connect to West Edge apps, and then we can identify where are they, what are the truck drivers doing, and how many % of the job they have done for the day. So, and then what job they have done, and then what is the bus number. So this one already connect to our system, to West Edge. So we can monitor the driver in the office. So we can monitor the driver in the office, and then we see, okay, how much it is. And in this iPad, and also in this truck, they know how much, how many ton or how many kilo that they have already tipped. So there's a weight scale in the truck here. So every time they leave the bins and then put into this truck, they can identify how many kilo are they, how many tons are they, and then the driver make sure this one put them into West Edge through the through the iPad, and then we can capture that one into West Edge with software that we use in the office, and then we can also identify how many jobs they have done for that day. And in reporting client here, sorry, I have to move back. So in the reporting client here is the fuel. And then we also can identify how many fuel that they have used it. So every single day we can monitor what is the driver doing. And each truck, they have our own GPS. So that's why we can identify where are they. And then if suddenly we got a call from another customer, and then we can ask the driver who is one, where's the closest ones. We can call them. Can you pick up this? Can you do this one? Can you do this one? I say, because this is close to your area. And then the driver can pick that one straight away. Yes, I think that's the one. And I said, okay, I'll try to share the video. So just to make understand about the liquid treatment. Let me... Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this one, and I want to share with my video that I have.
Okay, while waiting to Mr. Anur share the video, is there any question? Oh, sir, we have a question from Jason Fiorenzo, sir.
Yep.
Okay, Jason, would you like to talk directly to Mr. Anur? Oh, we also got question from Ibu Linda. But okay, Jason, you want to talk directly to Mr. Anur, or just want me to read your question? Okay, I think I will read it for Jason Fiorenzo. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Anur. Good afternoon, Mr. Anur. I would like to ask, would it be possible if I ask my
I was asking a permission before Mr. Archie.
Jason, yes, okay.
So okay.
You may start your question
Okay.
to start directly to Mr. Anur.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and Mr. Ano and Mr. Archie.
I'm sorry, Jason, your voice is. We can't hear your voice
Is my
clearly.
voice clear now? Hello. Is my voice clear enough now? Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Jason. You still mute yourself.
Oh, hello. Can my voice be heard now?
Yes, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now we can hear it.
So good afternoon, everyone, Mr. Ano, Mr. Archie. It's an honor for me to ask you this question. I'm quite curious in how do you calculate the price of the waste? Because as we know that the waste from the people's like we're the one that's receiving it. So I mean like sometimes like I don't know in Australia, but in Indonesia we pay for like to throw our waste. We need to do some payment in our neighborhood for that. Like so, my question is, how do you calculate the weight of the waste that you received and you process it into another form of things that can be useful? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
The weight, yeah.
the yeah
The price,
the word, yeah,
the
how
weight
word,
or the
yeah,
price?
the price of it.
Oh, okay. Regarding from the weights, as I mentioned before, every truck have their weight scale. So when they lift up the pins, they know how much is the weight. And the price is depend on the waste code, what type of waste that they have. So for example, like a timber, they have a different price because timber like organics, so and easy to process as well. So usually we just put have a lower price of it. But if something like a commingle or a putrescible is have a higher rate of it. So it's depend on the waste type. Against the waste type is also depend upon how much is the the tipping price. So but I can say like, for example, like a timber. So we did that one a timber. We was thinking, so I can give you some case for this. So one of our customer is recently happens to us, and it's under our discussions, but I think they have already decided the price. So first, that the customer call us that we need to there are some timber that they have already put in the bins, and then they want to get rid of it, and then we charge them around $160 per ton at the time. But when we pick up the timber and then we try to put that one into tipping sites, the timber is contaminated. So why the timber can contaminate it? Because the timber itself contaminated with nails, with something like a what is this, like a steel. So I don't know where timber come from, but they have a lot of nail in the timber, so we cannot tip that one into the tipping site. And then that's what we call contaminated timber. And there's another waste code, another waste type. And then we cannot charge that one 160. We have to charge that one more, around 250 and then 263 per tons. So that's why it depends about what the waste type. So when we get the booking from the customer, we just give them the standard price first. But the actual ones, sometimes the customer is tricky. They just hide it somewhere in the bottom one, and then just cover it up something on the top what they said. So for example, timber, but under that ones, under the bin, in the bins, in the bottom ones of the bins, there may be something like contaminated. We cannot recognize it. We cannot notice that. And then we check that one. That's why we have to coordinate with the driver. And the driver said this one is contaminated. Okay, we will charge that one more. So hopefully it's answer your question.
Okay, it totally answer my question. Thank you for your answer and for your presentation today, Mr. Anwar.
No.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ranur. We got two questions from Ibu Linda. Allow me to read the question. The first one is, in the liquid waste treatment process, does it produce any gas? So is there any gas waste treatment also?
That is a good question. We don't process the liquid chemical thing. We don't process that one. But the Victoria government granted us to process the to build the plants in Victoria for the solvent one. So at this stage, we don't have, there's no gas at all from the treatment plant. But maybe if we have already opened for the solvent treatment plants, there will be a lot of gas happen there. So that's what is the risky treatment plants, but it's still under discussions between the Victoria government and Remondis itself. And then maybe the other one that I want to maybe it's also happened in Indonesia as well regarding for the solid waste. Is it in Bantar Gebang, isn't it? That's the tipping site. So we also have like that one in Australia, but underneath that landfill, they put like a plastic. So all the solid waste that we did that once, they will produce a liquid. That liquid, what we call a leachate. So if you go to like, I don't know, in Bantar Gebang or in landfill here in Bantar Gebang, you will see there are so many gas come from there. Actually, that gas is very, very good for the electricity. And then they also have a liquid in that solid waste. The liquids. So in Australia, they have to filter the between the solid and the liquid. The liquid, we have to suck that one. We have to pump it out. So that liquid, what we call leachate. And as long as I know until now, leachate is good for fertilizer. So the color of leachate, maybe you ever noticed that the color of leachate is like a brown, like a chocolate, and smells so bad. But that one is good for fertilizer. But it depends. We have to check that one into on the chemical thing first. Some of them is good. We can put that one straight away to the plants. Some of them is not that good. So I'm not saying that we have to put that one to the plants straight away, but check it first about what is inside there. And then if it is good, if there's nothing like harm the landfill, you can do it straight away. And it also produces a gas. That gas, I forgot the names, but it's good for the electricity. So that what are we going to do in Remondis at this moment? So we try to have a landfill here, and then we can capture all the gas. In the gas, we sell the gas to produce electricity to the electricity in Victoria. So in Indonesia, we can sell that one to PLN, perusahaan listrik negara. So and then we can get a rebate from that. So rather than we have to pay higher amount of electricity, they will pay for us. Or maybe we have to we get a discount for it.
Okay, that's good. If in Melbourne they already use the gas, yeah. But I'm not sure about in Jakarta or in Indonesia whether they already use the gas from the landfill, yeah, or the waste treatment. I'm not sure about that.
So I had experience when Ridwan Kamil came here. He presented something in Melbourne. No, I think Melbourne Uni. I forgot. Yeah, Melbourne Uni.
I think you have the problem again with your voice, sir.
Okay. So can you hear me? Is it better?
Quite clear, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I ever met Ridwan Kamil when he was in Melbourne Uni. He presented something about the environment and everything, and then I proposed him about the Remondis. That's what happened to Remondis. That what we are going to do with Remondis, and then because we have.
Sorry for disturbing you, but the voice is still on the problem, sir. You can hear clearly.
Okay. Something. This one I don't know. All right. Can you hear me now?
No. It happened like the previous one, that your voice is not clear.
Okay. Okay, what about now? I'm afraid it's because
Still the same, I think. How about at your end, Archie?
Yes, miss.
Still not clear.
Previous section, yes. Same as the beginning.
Or maybe you better to switch your device.
I'll try to, but so can you hear me now? Better?
No, still in trouble. So maybe other student may raise your question or put your question in the chat room, or maybe you want to discuss something with Mr. Anur. Please don't be hesitate. Don't be shy.
I'm sorry, Bu Linda and Mr. Anur, kindly reminder that we still have 5 more minutes to finish the first session. So if there is another question, you can ask it during or after the second session is over.
Is it on or?
Oh, we still can't hear clearly, Sir Anur.
Oh, okay. I try to maybe let's change the device.
I think now it's clear, sir.
Try it better. Okay.
No, it's still same. I'm sorry.
Okay.
How about you?
Mr. Anu said that you wanted to play some videos for us. Maybe you may play it.
Okay. I'll try to play the ones. It's only around 1 minute. But maybe take a while, or maybe I'm going this one is the second session.
I'm sorry, sir. The voice is still not clear. Or may I suggest to you, sir, if you want to change the device, or you can use your the earphones to help you to make the voice to become more clear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Not too clear, sir.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have to change my device now. I'm sorry with that.
Okay, sir. It's much better now.
Okay.
Crystal clear now.
Yeah, this might be something wrong with, I don't know. Okay, because I changed my device, I think because this one is disabled for the participant to screen sharing. Is it possible for me to get access for it?
Yes, it's possible if you want to share the video, sir.
Okay. I think I'm using this one now. So, what is it? What's the name?
Okay, kindly reminder, sir. We still got 3 more minutes. Is it okay, or is it enough to play the video during 3 minutes?
I think it's mine is still disabled because I'm still under maybe participant.
Mr. Ino, can you help? Okay, I already make the share screen. All the participant allowed to share screen, sir.
Okay, it's good. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
All right. I'm not good in editing video, but I try to make everything is easy to understand for this one. All right. This is what happened. This is Remondis.
Mr. Anwar, I'm sorry, we can't hear any. Is there any voice, sir, from the video, because we can't hear anything, sir?
Yes, some of them have a voice, some of them doesn't have it.
Oh, that it doesn't have it. Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry for this, sir.
All right, so okay. If you see this one is kind of like the second first step. So this one is the first step when we want to split between the solid and liquid one. So we have to test that one first now. So this is the centrifuge. I stop here first. So if you see on the right side here, this is the sludge coming out from the centrifuge. So this is the sludge. So all the sludge go to here, and then we put the one into our bin here. Okay, I'm going to stop here. There is the results from the centrifuge. If you see in this, the water, this liquid is clean enough. So first, forget about something in the bottom here, because at that times there was overflow from our other tanks, and then we have to clean this. Forget about that ones, but just focus on this. So there's the results. And then we operate everything in our room here. And we have to make sure everything is clean. Yes, I think that's all. The video. Hopefully, it can you can imagine about what is the waste management company look like, especially for the liquid waste. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anur. What a great and insightful session from Mr. Anur. Honestly, I really enjoyed to learn a lot from this session, and I believe everyone here also do the same as me. And I'm very sorry if I have to end the first session. Thank you for the enthusiasm of the audience. If you still have any questions, do not hesitate to ask during or after our second session is over. Okay, before we enter the break session, I'll give back the mic to Jonathan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anur and Mr. Archie, for the material. Hopefully, this webinar material will be essential for all audience. Now we will watch a video from Accounting Lab. Maybe Mr. Agustinus, can you please help us to provide the video? Hello, Mr. Agustinus. Okay, maybe all participants, we can wait for around 1 until 2 minutes because there's an issue with the video. Please kindly wait until Mr. Agustinus play the video. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Agustinus, for sharing the journey of BINUS University to us. Now we will move to the next section of the webinar. I would like to welcome Mr. Archie back to the session with us. Mr. Archie, now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Right, let's begin the second session of Immersion 2022. I wish that everyone here and on the YouTube still had curiosity and eager to learn about the work culture, value, self-development, and management that will lead you to survive in Australia. Because in this session, we will get to know more about the experience while living in Australia, where there is a word says, Australia, where the good life is just called life. Mr. Anwar, are you ready to start your next presentation?
Let's do it.
Very nice. Okay then, Mr. Anwar, the floor is yours.
Okay. Share my screen. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see my screen now, eh?
Yes, sir.
Let's start with this. So I'm going to talk about my experience here. So since how I have experience in Indonesia and then get a job in Australia. So I explain Indonesia, study in Australia, and then get a job in Australia. And then what is my next target? I think this one's something like a little bit personal, actually. All right, I started in 2001. This is my Indonesian career. So I was working in a multi-utama Konsultindo and PZ Cousins as a career. So this one career in my tax, and then moved to accounting, moved to managerial, and then in 2012, I become one of the financial controller in a power filtration Indonesia, and also lecturer in a IPMI business school. So that's one. And then I left everything. I moved to Australia. So during the Australia times, so I arrived in 2014, and then joined the internship, journey to the CPA Australia, and then since 2019, it's kind of for me like kind of a new beginning for me, because since 2014, I did not work as an accountant. I didn't work in an accounting role. I only work like in a factory hands, doing something that maybe people doesn't want to work. So working in the factory, working in the, something that's nothing related at all about the accounting. But I see myself that I want to go back to accounting role. So how to go back that one? So I need something that to get a job in accounting role. It is I want to qualify in accounting in Australia. So that's why I started in 2016. It's my journey to get the CPA Australia, and it took me around 3 years, almost 3 years, 2.5 years to get my CPA Australia. And then 2019, I got accounting role in Heartland Logistics and in the Remondis. So first, I work in Heartland Logistics. It's a logistics company. It's a transport company. And then I moved to Remondis as first like a plant controller on the liquid one. And then since 2022, so with this, I think 2021, I moved to the solid waste. And then my business, my target is, run business in 2025, because I saw there's a lot of opportunity in Australia, and I want to run this one with my sons. All right, this is my study line. I study in the Stans, University of Indonesia, get my CMA, get my CA, and then get my CPA, and started Master of Business by Research in Swinburne University. All right, now there's interesting parts. How to get a job in Australia. First is networking. Almost more than 85% people get a job because of networking. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what how skilled you are. If you don't have a networking, it is, in my experience, it's very, very hard to get a job. So you want to send all the resume. I want to send all the resume to the job every single day. So if you don't have a good networking, it's hard because they are based on the referral. So who do you know and do you know who? That's the thing. So who knows who? So because when you send the resume, when you get the interview and everything, they will ask the referral. So do you know about this person? Do you know Anur or what's Anur's doing? Is it good? Blah, blah, blah. If they cannot convince themselves, they say, no, I'm not going to give you the job for you. So networking is very important in Australia. More than 85%. I can say like if you see there's a big website for the to look at job. That one is a 6.com.au. But I can say that most on the job that has already applied there, they already get the candidate. Based on what? Based on the referral. So some people have already worked there, and then your friend may be working in the company, and then they will know, okay, I have a good friend, they are very good, they also have the skill, and then they will refer you to their manager or to the HR, and then the HR will contact you. Or maybe they will contact your friend to send resume to the HR manager or HR department. And then it will forward this one to the HR, and then they will interview you. So more than 85% based on the networking to get a job in Australia. Second, resume. Make sure this is my first experience. When I wrote a resume in Australia, I had more than 5 pages. I include all my experience in my resume. But Australia will not read that one. Australia, all the HR, all the the agency, the recruitment agency only see from the first page. So if you can minimize that one into 1 page, or a maximum is 3 pages, it will be good. So make sure resume is not the same as writing a CV. That's different. And then second one, the page, maximum is 3 pages. The third ones, you have to customize on the resume for each job you apply. It depends about what is the criteria, what is the requirement. If they require, for example, like is good in Excel, have an advanced skill in Excel, you can do pivot table and everything. You have to customize that. Make sure all the job description, all the requirement is in your resume. That's very important. The third one, experience. So first time I came here, I said that, look, I have experience about this one, blah, blah, blah. But again, they will ask you, do you have experience in Australia or not? If you say no, the chance is lower. So that's why from the first time I come here, I do whatever I can do. I do, because I want to grow my networking in Australia. It's like a totally new for me. So I work in the factory as a factory hand. I work like a kitchen hand in the restaurants. And then by the time they know me about how I finish the job, and then I ask them, can you be my referral? That's what we call networking. And then you have to work in the resume. And then the third one, experience. I say, yes, I have experience about this. I have experience to work in Australia, but you can say that I don't have experience in Australia for accounting role, but I have experience working in this company. And then they can be your referral. That's very, very important in Australia. So when everything is good, everything is done, and then they invite you to have an interview, there is common mistake, for me especially. When they ask you, you will tell about what you have done. Especially in Indonesia, with my experience, I always tell them that, look, this is my experience, I have this one, I have this one, and this one. Australia doesn't like that. So when you do interview, make sure you are using STAR. There's a situation, task, action, and result. What does it mean? If they ask you, for example, how do you deal with the hard people, or how do you deal if you are disagree with something there? Don't just straight away go there on, oh, I'm going to do this one, blah, 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 blah. No, sit to them, tell them, I ever had that experience before. This is the situation. For example, I have a problem. I have a disagreement with my manager. And then what are you going to do with this one? And then what is the action? And then what is the result after that? So you have to define that, not just say, yes, if I disagree with someone, I will come to them, I will tell them about this one, discuss about this one, blah, blah, blah. They don't like that one. They like something that, what is the situation over there? What kind of disagreement? So if the disagreement, for example, about the data, or about how to get how to finish the job, tell them what is the situation, what it is. On the situation is like this one, and then what you do. I sit down together with my manager, discuss about this, and then we come up with this result. And then based on this decision, we take action that, and this is the result. The result can come from everything. Either, for example, like you become a good friend with your manager, or your job is more effective. What I mean more effective here, sometimes, for example, like in my experience, when you want to get like a results, it has an impact to your company, or it has impact to your company or corporate. So for example, oh yeah, this one is a saving around 250. No, it's not 250. So for example, 250,000, it's cost saving about that one. That's kind of the result. That's a good result. But even though that one is only reduce 1 minute of your job, that is what we call achievement. That's what we call a result. Doesn't matter how small it is, that is the result. So first times when I got the interview, I said that, look, I can save the company money around 250,000 per year. Oh, that's good. But I didn't tell them what is the situation. It's just kind of like a bluffing. It's kind of like a liar. So tell them the situation, what is the task, and what the action, and what is the result. So results is kind of come from everything. And then I want to show you about some of the resume. So this what happened. I'm going to go from the Indonesian resume first. So they always say like this one, working experience. This one, I did this one, I did this one, I did this one. On September, I did this one, I did this one. They don't like that. And then back to the Australian resume, look, there's an achievement. They need something what you have achieved. If you come back to from Indonesia resume, this I pick up randomly, but on an Indonesia resume, this I pick up randomly, but it is what my resume looked like before in Indonesia. So working experience, educations, same thing. But look, if you see on the working experience, it's just about conducting, developing, assisting. That's your job. That is your daily job. That's your routine job. They want something, what you have achieved with this. So Australia resume, they want to, what is the achievement? I have developed a monitoring report of total waste for something, this one, and design this, develop this one, create this one, create dashboard and everything. So that's what Australia resume wants. And then second thing, this one, it's kind of like a brief informations. What kind are you? What is your core competency? So you have to mention that one, but here they don't mention anything. So when the HR or recruitment agencies see this Indonesian resume, I say, oh yeah, okay, all good, and then they just put that one away. But come to Australia resume, they say, okay, they will read this one first. And then what is work experience? They just read from the from the first page only, like a glance. This one, okay, all good. This one is, no, I don't want to take this one. I don't want to take this interview. I don't want to call them. That's what happened. So this one is based on my experience. So some people have a different experience. But this what happened to me. It keep going like this one. So I keep changing. Every time I apply the job, I keep changing it based on what they want. But make sure when you change that one, it is something that what you did. Don't like, tell them lie, or say, oh yeah. But because when they will know whether you tell a lie or not when you get interview. They will know about that. Okay, and then working culture in Australia. It's very important about punctuality. Being late is not tolerated. So when you say like a 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. When you say like a 5:30, 5:30. But if you have already make appointment or you come there and say, okay, I will come there at 9 o'clock. I will start working at 9 o'clock. And then you say that, I don't think I can make it. Inform them. I don't think I can make it at 9 o'clock, but maybe I will come a little bit late. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, they are okay, as long as they have information there. But some people say, okay, just wait for me, I will come there. Now, it's not really good for the coworker, for the colleague, or for ourselves. So tell them, if I come late, come late. About how many minutes, if you can tell them that how many minutes late, tell them. It's good for yourself and also for the working culture in the company as well. Second one is politeness at work. So what I mean politeness here is like being nice, just work together as a team. I saw there some company that do not work like this one. I saw that one, but it's not that much. But most of them you have to work as like, be polite, because here we have a regulation about rude worker, about being racist and everything. We have a regulation. The third one is teamwork. Of course, every company you have to work with teamwork. And then next one is the clean lines and good customer service. Don't leave everything on your desk messy. When you finish your job and that day, clean it up. Put aside. I know that maybe you have to come back again tomorrow and then you have to do something that one, but make sure that one is tidy. That's very important, because if they can see what you are, what you left on the desk, whether this guy or this person is not that organized enough, they will know that. Last but not least is hard work and professionalism. So, well, I can say like every company, even in Indonesia, you have to work hard for it just to get the things, and a good work ethic and dedication. That's very important. Then next one is what the legal cover for the workers. So we have work safe. So work cover, we have work cover here. If the one is under work safe, we have work safe itself, and we have a fair work. We also have a well-being. So what is work cover? Work cover is something if you get injured when you are work there. For example, you sleep, or maybe you fell down on the floor. You can first of all, you have to talk to your manager. I fell down in this floor and it make myself, for example, my knee broken or something, hopefully or something like injury. Tell the manager, and then you have to stay at home you cannot do your job. Don't worry about that one. Work safe will cover your payment. So you will still get the pay. You still your job is still there. You don't lose your job. You still get the payment from it. So this one will cover. So if something that is happen in the factory or in the office, you don't need to worry. They will cover you. Don't worry about the payment. Don't worry about I I will lose my job. I will not get paid for this one. Don't worry about that one. WorkSafe will cover it. You will still get the payment, the same amount of it. And then, but it doesn't mean that you just stay at home, do nothing, but you still have to visit doctor, make sure everything okay. And then it's the time for you that you have already recovered. You can go back to work again, and then they will stop the payment, and then the company will pay for it after that. WorkSafe. WorkSafe is not only about like it's not only injury and everything, but it's also about the racism. Is there still racism in Australia? Some of them, yes, but it's lower. So for example, that people say like, sorry, effort to you, you say like, you are not good, blah, 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 this one, come to them, come to WorkSafe Victoria, come to the legal, and then say, this person is rude to me, he mentioned to me like this one, blah, 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 and then they will cover it up, and then maybe they will make sure that the persons or your colleagues or your co-worker get not the punishment, maybe a penalty or something. So you will save for it. And then fair work. Fair work is about the racism as well. Same thing. Fair work is like, even though I'm Asian, some people Asian, there's like a what we call bully or something. They will get much money for that one. No, if it happened to you, just go to fair work. And then look, I do the same job. I do the same thing. I work hard for it. I work harder than them, but the money that I get on the payment that I get less. But just go to fair work for it, and then they will try to figure out. They will try to investigate what happened there. And then if something that make you not well, what I mean in terms of mental health, you can go to. They will always ask you, are you okay? What happened to you? Oh, my manager said this one to me. I'm not that good enough. I'm stupid on everything. Go to that. You can go to either fair work or there's organization, what we call, are you okay? There's one. So come to them, tell them, and then they will investigate in the company. I'm sure, and don't worry about the payment. Don't worry about the salary. They will cover it up. They will cover up. So you still do what you have to do. You still get a payment for that one, and then they will cover you. Because humans here is very, very important for the company, and human here is very, very important for the country as well. I think that's all what I'm going to say to you. So about the legal cover for workers, for the employee, and also in the working culture, and what how to get a job. So if there's any questions, please ask. Let me know.
Okay, Mr. Anur, I think we have one question from Ibu Linda. So allow me to read the question from Ibu Linda. For fresh graduates, what kind of experiences and achievements should be in the resume?
That's good questions. Okay, I'm going to back to the example of resume. Resume is something, the selling point of you. All right, because I have an experience, I'm going to sell my experience to the company. But if you are a fresh graduate, so the first thing that you can do is do not put the word experience here, but put your education. Put the education here. So what education, what formal education that you have done? So put that one first. That one's kind of like a selling point for you, like a marketing yourself. That the resume. And then second ones is very important as well. It's a volunteer job. So if you can do the volunteer job, put it in. Put it in. Because in the culture here, when they are 17 or I think 15 years old, they can get a job, but not as a full-time, but as a part-time. For example, like my son now is 17, but he got a job when he was 16 years old. What does he do? Just do a cleaning service. And then just put it in. So what is it? Why is cleaning service is very not important. Why we have to put the cleaning service in our resume? It's not about the cleaning service itself, but it's about how do you manage your time, how do you manage your job, and also the second, the important one is when you do that job, you get a networking. So when you have that networking, there's the one that you have a referral. So maybe your friend or your colleague or your coworker when you are doing cleaning service there, they know someone else, and then they can refer you to someone else to work there, and they know, oh, okay, they still have a skill. So again, from the fresh graduate, put your education is first in the resume, because that is your selling point. And then this one, this thing is very, very important, because they only see from there. And then second, okay, education. But for me, because my selling point is working experience, I'm going to put the working experience my selling point. But this one, this kind of like a summary of all of your resume. What is your competency? What are you good at? And then what kind of person are you? So it's easy for you to work with other people, or maybe with the people that is rude or very hard. For example, like me, you know, truck driver is very, very tough person. So they always use the F word every single time that they talk to me. But I say, I'm happy with that one. I can mingle with that. So I put it here. I have already discussed, you know, I can manage the tough people. I can manage the truck driver. I can communicate with them. So there's kind of like a selling point. So fresh graduate, you still can a good job, but what is your selling point? That's the first time you have to identify. I think that's it. Anything? Any question?
Okay, is there anyone to ask a question to Mr. Anur about the working culture, maybe about the value and how to survive while living in Australia? It's very great presentation from you, Mr. Anur. I think I get more knowledge about this. Oh, we have a question, sir, from Gisela Septi, and I think this is the last question because of the time. And allow me to read, sir. Hello, Sir Anur. I have a question. Can my previous company colleagues or my supervisor become my networking, since maybe we know no one in new company that we apply?
So company, sorry, come again, company college.
Or yes, sir, it's about company college. I think is a company that have working together with the. Oh, it's a colleague, sir.
Oh, colleague. Oh, okay.
It's company colleague. Oh yeah.
So on the networking, it can be from everyone's. It can be from your friends. It can be from your previous supervisor. It can be coming from your other coworker that you used to work before. So it can be from that one. But this is my experience. If you want to go for the accounting role, for example, like me, make sure your networking is someone who has access to that accounting role. But if your networking is like most of your friends is like an Uber driver or maybe like a truck driver, well, it will be very hard for you to get a job as accounting role, because most of the networking are related on the truck driver or the driver and everything. So expand your networking. It's very, very important. And then these things, my experience, make sure your referral is in Australia. If you want to work in Australia, I used that one before. I used that one. I have one of my manager. He's living in Australia. Sorry, is in Singapore, and one of them in Spain. sorry, in Hong Kong, and I asked them to be my referral for that ones. When I got an interview, and then I give them like the referral, and they say, no, I don't want them, but I need someone in Australia. So I have to think twice about who should I do this one. And I asked one of my supervisor, my previous supervisor, my coworker as well. And then they are happy with that one. And then, yeah, they just call them, make sure about this, make sure about how is Anur and everything. And then, well, it was unlucky I didn't get the job, but it's good experience for me. So, what is it called, like if it's better to have a networking in Australia if you want to work in Australia, but it doesn't mean that you cannot get a job in Australia. Yes, you can, but maybe the chance is a little bit lower. I hope this one is answered the question.
Is that answer your question, Giselle? I hope so. Okay. Mr. Anur, there is last question from Ibu Linda. Pak Anur, does any Indonesia certification is recognized by Australia companies, or should we certified by international organization? Would you kindly suggest us how to get our reputable referral and networking in Aussie?
Okay, so for Indonesian certification, if you are talking about the accounting, my experience, it's hard. It's hard to be recognized as an Australian company. But if you are talking about the IT or about other field of study, for example, they want IT. I have some friends that they just graduate from one of university in Indonesia. They got a job in Australia because they are in IT, because IT is more broader. But accounting, most of them, they will ask, do you have a certificate in Australia or not? That's what happens. So that's the reason why I want to get my CPA Australia. But you don't have to follow me with this. Some of my friends, they also they have experience from Indonesia. He graduated from, I think, from Trisakti, if I'm not wrong. But his experience is as auditor in Ernst & Young. And then when he come to Australia, easy for him to get a job, to be auditor. So it's like a chicken and egg, which one comes first? Well, it depends what is your selling point. If you have a certificate that been recognized in Australia, I think it will be good your selling point to sell them that this is why I can do this. I have a certificate in Australia. But if you don't have it, make sure what is your selling point. Maybe you are really good in a sales of an Excel or in data analytics or in analysis and everything. That's your selling point. Some company doesn't see what certificate that you have, but some company will check that one first. And then how get the reportable referral and then working in Australia? Well, what I did before, because I got a friend in Australia when I was working in Indonesia, so I keep emailing them. So make a good networking from them, because at the time I plan to move to Australia, and then I have to, just to make a friend with him, and then ask him, and then meet him in not in party. I mean, sometimes just meet up somewhere, have a coffee, and then tell, I want to do this one or this one, what should I do? Just have a networking with him, because when you meet him, he will introduce you with someone else, and then someone other people, and then he or she will introduce you with someone else. So that's one kind of networking, and then you will become a reputable person. I say, okay, you become a person that can work with, and then some of them will become easy for you to become your referral. So it's very, very important. Networking in Australia is very important. Sometimes certifications is nothing. But if you have a good networking, it will be easy for you to get a job. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Sir Anur. I think I'm sorry because of matter of time. I think I need to close the Q&A session. Well, what an interesting and amazing presentation by Mr. Anur. And before we end the session, allow me to give the conclusion. Well, it's great to know and learn about the pattern of life in Australia and how Mr. Anur got through it so far. The most important thing you should have is experience working, because if you don't have it, then your chances of getting a job will be lower. As for the work culture, having various competitions can increase the capabilities to be competitive in Australia. And manage risk effectively by reviewing and updating the information to all stakeholders will enhance to another opportunity to improve the quality of the environment. Remondis Australia is a company with more than 30 years experience through serving more than 15,000 commercial, industrial, and municipal customers. During the operational activities, there are various types of waste, namely liquid and solid waste, or those known as sludge waste. All waste will be processed in stages with the help of technologies such as Excel and other systems. That is very useful to increase the effectiveness of waste handling and management to make it work better. And of course, Remondis has offered a variety of singularities in the performance of its responsibilities in accordance with the applicable regulations. Okay, I would like to thank once again to Mr. Anur for the insight that he has conveyed to us. I believe that an understanding has been reached from this immersion event that exceeded the expectations of all audiences to learn about how to improve waste management process effectively that is carried out in Australia, especially from Remondis Australia, which has been transmitted by Mr. Anur. Okay, on behalf of School of Accounting, Binus University, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Mr. Anur to share his knowledge and experience to aligning us on waste management process and work culture in Australia. Before we end our session, with very great honor, allow me to give the certificate by virtual to Mr. Ino. Can you please help share the certificate? Okay, Mr. Anur, allow me to read the certificate. This certificate is awarded to Mr. Muhammad Anur Wijaya Kusuma, SAAK, CA, CPA Australia, CMA Australia from Remondis Australia, as speaker in Immersion 2022. Immersion 2022, Remondis Australia, on 11 June 2022. The certificate is signed by Ms. Angswatlin Lindawati, SA, MCom Hons, PhD, CSRS, CSRA, CMA, as the head of Accounting Study Program from School of Accounting, Binus University. Please let us give virtual applause to Mr. Anur.
Thank you.
Okay, I think it's all for our session. I'll give back the mic to Jonathan. Once again, thank you, Mr. Anur.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Anur and Mr. Archie. To kindly remind you, every participant is required to submit the webinar summary at the end of session 3 at Accounting Binus website that can be accessed via accountingbinus.ac.id, and more details of the submission will be explained later at the end of session 3. To all participants in Zoom, now we will have a photo session, so please turn on your camera. Okay, so I'll take the picture. First, I want to take the first page for the spotlighted page. Okay, so 3, 2, and 1. Okay, hold a minute. Okay, so first page, 3, 2, and 1. Second page, 3, 2, and 1. Next page, 3, 2, and 1. Fourth page. Okay, thank you everyone. Now, as previously mentioned, we will enter the last session of this webinar, where Mr. Anur will demonstrating the usage of Remondis to us.